We can't inhale at the same time. It fucks it up. I can't even breathe now. Simultaneous inhale of death.
For Ville'n Records Studio.
We both thought that the other one was going to start talking because of that.
I know. God damn it.
You're sitting in with DJ Greener.
Fresh from the grave. This is the Gromble. It's not my show, but this is one show that you might be listening to at some random point during the day. Say it's 4:35, 6 o'clock, or, you know.
AM or PM.
Maybe you're taking a shit. Maybe you just decided to turn on your laptop and listen to some online radio while you're doing that. Maybe you're reading the paper right now.
Taking a poop.
I always feel a little self-conscious when I'm listening to something when I'm on the pot. Like
Yeah?
if you're in the bathroom, well, let's just say you're walking by a bathroom and someone's in there and you hear music or a radio show or anything like that, you're going to think something weird. Like,
Well, you're going to assume that they're not in there shitting or peeing. You might just walk in.
Well, you'd never do that.
If I heard a radio playing, I'd just assume someone's in there like,
Rocking out
I guess. What are they in there doing? Masturbating?
at a pizza party.
Don't
in
fear
my
the
bathroom one
Reaper's
day.
on. Someone's just like...
What a weird song to decide for that situation. Oh, man.
It doesn't have to be appropriate.
Every time I hear Don't Fear the Reaper, I just got a jacket.
I'm saying it might be on the radio. They didn't have a choice in what they were playing. Otherwise, they'd obviously put Wasn't Me by Shaggy.
Yeah, I could see that.
And she caught me red-handed. I'm gonna nut.
That's the remix, it would appear.
Remix!
Wow.
Does it seem like there's like a weird effect on my voice? Do you hear that?
It's the room.
Oh, it's called a compressor, an equalizer, and reverb.
I don't want reverb on my voice.
If I don't have it on there, it sounds like shit.
Take it off and let's see.
I want to know.
Hear, can't see sound.
I want to know. I want to...
Is that better than
Yeah,
reverb?
kind of.
Yeah, this is a little bit better,
I like
actually.
this. Yeah, this is better. Why would I want to sound like I'm in a tin
That's
can
where that
on the
hissing
radio?
came from.
I don't know what you just said.
Oh, fuck.
Just gotta keep the buttons.
Oh, my goodness. You are listening to Ville'n Radio here on Ville'nRadio.com. Maybe on your cell phone, maybe on your computer. Maybe you found some futuristic way that we don't know about yet, in which case you should email me and let me know. Because that's a bunch of bullshit. You're
Yeah.
getting it for free.
Hopefully you guys can pick this up in your spaceship.
Plural.
Those spaceships that you have.
This is DJ Late Night. I'm here with my good friends Greener, Astronaut, and Gromble.
Chicka chicka yeah.
Coming to you live from Marysville, Washington. It's been a big week coming up. Got a big show coming up next month, February 24th. Who do we got playing there, Greener?
We got Lovesick, The Get, Tragedy Awaits Us All, 3 other bands that we'll talk about later.
Of no consequence.
They're not playing a good band name.
What's the Zybok? Ashley Zybok's gonna be there.
Chelsea's Eye.
Chelsea Zybok.
And Mike Jones.
Mike Jones is going to make a guest appearance. Brandon Foster will be there.
I wonder how many people are gonna show up expecting the famous guy Mike Jones, and it's not gonna be
Like,
Mike
why
Jones.
is he playing in between these bands?
Yeah. I always thought that would be like a really awesome thing to do, like find a band or a artist that I really don't like, pump him up for him, like this big old show, and then give him a really inconsequential like part of it. Like he's gonna announce a band, gets 10 minutes, cut him off halfway through
He's
the
like
song.
super pumped up for the show and
Yeah.
then gets nothing.
Halfway through the song, we just cut it.
That's how I felt at the El Corazon.
Chris Brown, we should do that to Chris Brown someday.
Or Little Flip.
I don't know who that is.
Little Flip played. You remember, it was like freshman year or something, there was that stupid song that was like, flip, 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 flip. That was like it. But that was like the
I
main
don't
thing.
remember that song.
It was by this dude, Little Flip. It was like Limp Bizkit days, dude.
Wow.
That dude, not too long ago, I saw them advertising like one of their rap shows they're gonna have at JR's, and he played. So his career is doing really
Great.
good. Like,
Yeah, you know when you're playing at JR's that
really good.
you're hitting the top of the
And
charts.
it was being promoted by that City Stars thing that Christy Cristiano worked for and
God.
shit. Which
Talk
really,
about a waste of
which really
space.
we should. But I agree. But we should probably talk to those people. They're
Yeah.
partly what we're doing.
That's one thing I'm not looking forward to is having to like fake.
Deal with people that we don't like because we need to
Yeah.
use them. I'm great at that. That's why I'm doing it.
Absolutely.
You couldn't go into the Venom and not just start hating on people.
Oh my god, especially with that Jameson with grenadine in it. Who the fuck does that?
That was so fucking stupid. That was just ridiculous. There's no excuse for that. And then a
Awful,
fucking
awful
Sky
stuff.
Collins.
Yeah.
I couldn't even fucking drink it.
I can't drink vodka anymore. It's just
'cause
something I
it's-
can't do.
It's because it's gross.
Yeah, that's true. It reminds me of rubbing alcohol.
Especially in Monarch vodka.
God, there's too many nines. Monarch and Potters.
Oh, Potters.
That was the night I ended up upside down in a bush. For the night. Woke up upside down in a bush. It was some good stuff.
We used to get hardcore.
Yes, we certainly did.
Still do get hardcore. What am I talking about?
It's too bad we don't have the loft anymore. I guess we don't really need it. But it was just a good nostalgia place. Thinking back, that actually really sucked. Like, can you imagine having to cram 7 to 8 of us, 9 of us, 10 of us into a space that's pretty much the perimeter of you to Aaron. Gromble. Excuse me.
Nobody knows who that is that you're talking about.
What was that accent? That was like a mix of Icelandic and
I don't
Mexican
know what this accent is.
and Russian.
I've never heard it before.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
No, it's not.
So that Radiohead show sold out pretty quick.
In 8 minutes.
8 minutes.
Fucking an hour before they were even supposed to go on sale.
Yeah, what's that about?
I don't know.
Didn't they advertise the time 1 p.m., but they were
1
sold
p.m.
out by like 11?
Adam posted at like 8 afternoon that they'd sold out in 8 minutes. And that they weren't even supposed to go on sale till 1.
Wow.
I assume that like way too many people got it on the pre-sale, and then there was a bunch of those web pages that buy up all those fucking tickets. I've brought this up several times since the other day. We really need to make it so you're not allowed to fucking buy tickets for shows online anymore. You should have to fucking physically go
And buy the
tickets. That's the way it used to be, and if you really wanted to see a big show, you had to go camp. Go fucking camp in line for a couple days. If you want them that bad, then you'll be there and get them physically. Besides, there's something nostalgic about having ticket stubs, and now everything's printed off the fucking internet, and I don't like that anyways.
Yeah. I never actually camped out for tickets for anything.
I did for the Star Wars movies.
Yeah, I really wanted to do that.
I saw
but
each one opening night at the Cinerama.
That's fucking awesome. I just found my ticket for Star Wars 3 for Cinerama. I saw it the second night.
Even the second night at the Cinerama, you have to get there like 4 hours before the showing and stand in line, or you don't get in a good seat.
Cinerama's dope. They should sell booze there.
Dude, the Cinerama's fresh. It's fresh to death. Ghostbusters is coming back to theaters. I'm sure it's going to be there. The remastered Ghostbusters, dude. We should go see that at
They're
the
doing
Cinerama.
that for Star Wars also, like a remastered 3D version of the new ones. Episodes 1 through 3.
Who fucking cares? Maybe the
I'm gonna
first
go see
one.
it.
I'll go see it too, but I won't like it.
And that's the really big dilemma is like on
I
one
hate
side of the
Hayden
coin-
Christensen.
Yeah. But like,
Really,
on
I
one
didn't
side of
mind the
coin-
kid.
No, the little kid actually didn't do that bad
The
of a
first one
job.
was pretty good. It was just slow, kind of.
Yeah. And it makes...
But I like the politics in Star Wars, so it really doesn't bother me that much.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I'm a big enough fanboy for the storyline that
Yeah.
I'll sit through bad stuff and
When
still
they're
enjoy
like
it.
doing shit in the Senate, I'm interested.
Oh yeah, that's all great. It's all background story canon, and I'm a sucker for that kind of shit. And like another thing that sucks about that is all the other really supporting actors in the movies did well. Ewan McGregor did a good job. Samuel L. Jackson did a good job. They did a good job with Yoda's character. They did a good job with Count Dooku.
Django was pretty good.
Django did a good job. Yeah, that fight scene with Jango Fett and Obi-Wan on Camino. Yeah, that was a badass fight scene.
Fucking sick.
That was some good stuff. Yeah, Hayden Christensen just did an awful job
with everything. It was just terrible.
I'm trying to think who would have been a better substitute in that role, though.
Anyone, dude. I mean, like, anyone.
Yeah.
That fit white guy. Like, white, younger guy. Anyone could have played that fucking... Shia fucking Buff could have played that role for all I care. He probably would have killed it.
No, that would have sucked.
Yeah, that would have been awful. I just don't like that they took away the aura of Darth Vader being this cold asshole.
What about Edward Norton?
Edward Norton's, I think, older than
He's too old to have played that.
I mean, it would have been awesome. I'm sure he would have done a fantastic job, but it wouldn't have been believable.
No, he's not young enough to be Anakin. Fuck, dude, the kid from Superbad, the white kid, that kid could have fucking played it. That pussy kid.
McLovin?
No, the other one. You brought a fucking thing of spermicidal lube? Is like sidekick in the whole movie. Jonah Hill's homeboy.
Yeah, that's Shia LaBeouf, isn't it?
No.
Shia LaBeouf totally was in Superbad. He was the main guy.
He's not. The dude that, like, remember when he's get like the girls in bed with him or whatever, and she's like, "I'm gonna give you the best blow J ever," and she's like, "I don't understand why you're gonna be such a little bitch about it." And then he did that movie, that Nick and Nora's Ultimate Playlist, and a couple other.
Yeah, he was in Scott Tenorman versus the World or whatever.
Yeah, I think you were.
Not Scott Tenorman. What was it? No, that's a South Park character.
Michael Cera.
Michael Cera, that's what his name is.
I wouldn't have liked that.
Yeah, but he's a better actor.
I'm just so out of touch with, like, actors right now, I guess. I don't know who out there is.
So am I, but my point still remains. It was his basic lack of being able to act that made it terrible. Really, anybody that could act better than him could have taken the role and done something with it. Maybe because of the roles some of these people I said have been in weren't in that context at all. You can't see them in that role. It's hard.
That's true.
But they're good actors. You might not like thinking of Shia LaBeouf in that role, but he is a fucking really good actor. And if he wanted to make that role his, you could have made it believable.
I'm still, like, I can't picture Shia LaBeouf in my head. Who is this?
Really, I don't either, but it's just an example.
The guy from Transformers, Holes.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, he wouldn't have done a poor job.
No, he's a fucking great actor. He's been in a million things, too. He was in the Constantine. He's the fucking taxi driver in Constantine. He's the fucking, like, bitch kid in that one robot, iRobot, with Will fucking Smith.
Yeah.
He's been in a million things.
Even Stevens.
He started out Even
That's
Stevens.
Right.
Yep.
That fucking show, dude.
He was a Nickelodeon star.
And Holes was a Disney movie. That was his debut movie. It was a fucking, which was actually a pretty good movie.
I forgot about that movie.
Holes was actually a pretty good movie. I hate giving it credit, but it really
It's
was
not something
good.
I'm gonna watch more than once. Like the first time.
No, but it wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't.
Did you read the book?
No.
Did you suck a dick?
It was in high
Hard.
school for the book. It's like freshman.
They should have casted me.
Maybe it was 8th grade. Might have been middle school.
You remember
Except
having to read Across Five
Darth Vader
Aprils?
wasn't Mexican.
Crossfire Aprils, yes. I fucking hated that book.
That book sucked so bad.
That was that Civil War book, right?
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't bad.
I had Miss Peterson. She made it.
That was actually a pretty good book.
That was not a pretty good book.
What are you
About the
talking
little the poor black family.
Oh, I'm thinking of a different one.
Yeah, no, this wasn't about like war. This was about like a fucking poor black family
During the war.
whose like sons kept getting of age and going off to war and dying and so on and so forth. It was like about the family's struggle.
Yeah, I don't like that. You know what that reminds me of? The movie, what was it? It came out right when Inglourious Bastards did. And it was like the same setting. It was Jews versus Nazis during World War II. It had the guy who played James Bond.
Sean Connery?
No, the new James Bond in
I
Casino
can't remember
Royale.
what his
and all
name
that.
is.
God, what was that
I
movie
hate that
called?
guy is Bond. Bond wasn't supposed to be blonde. The fuck?
No. It wasn't.
Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig, yeah, but what was that movie called?
Which one?
It was the World War II drama one about the Jews getting into this little encampment and they were hiding from the Nazis out in the woods, and it was about this whole thing. And in all the previews there was like all these cool war scenes and all that, but like the 2 minutes in the previews was all the war scenes in the movie. The rest of it was just like, oh, these people are having a shitty time and all.
Valkyrie was kind of like that, but it was really
Valkyrie was
good.
kind of badass.
That movie
was good.
Awesome. But I did expect there to be more like war shit, and it was all German politics the whole movie. Remember didn't me and you watch that in my car
Yeah, we did.
on my laptop?
That's
I
right.
remember my neck being like so sore from leaning in and reading all the subtitles and shit.
Was it Munich? Or
No, it wasn't Munich. That was about
Defiance.
Defiance. Yeah.
Defiance, yeah.
That movie was such a letdown, man.
I never saw it.
But yeah, when they shouldn't take really awesome, like, plot stories and then tell the really non-interesting side of it. You know what I mean?
We've had a bad tendency. Like, there's just been a terrible tendency of doing that lately, too. We're running out of ideas for movies, and nobody's creative
Hollywood
anymore.
is just shit
It's
now.
just so fucked.
The last good movie...
We're gonna
well,
run
actually,
out
you
of
know what?
comic book characters soon.
Holmes was not a bad movie. The new Sherlock Holmes.
That was
I enjoyed
great.
that.
That movie was great.
Really did.
But,
enjoy
you know,
that.
a big part of that is, I think, Homeboy,
Robert Downey Jr.
is it Robert Downey Jr.?
He did a
Yeah.
really good job.
He's
all
a
drinking formaldehyde.
fucking great actor.
Yeah.
Period. Everything that guy I've ever seen that guy in has been good.
You know, he probably
I didn't think I was gonna like the Iron Man movies because I really never cared about the fucking Iron Man comic. I never liked that
I was
superhero.
never a big fan of Iron Man.
I didn't care about those movies at all. I never saw them in the theaters. I've heard a lot of good things about them. I finally watched them, and that motherfucker makes that what it is.
Oh,
It was
okay.
nothing without him.
This is who they should have casted as Anakin, the guy who's in the X-Men movies. He's also Jake in the Animorphs TV show. They should have casted that guy.
Totally.
He would have
That
been
guy
a
is
really
great.
good actor for that.
It's funny that you.
Fucking A.
I'm glad that someone else remembers him only from the Animorphs show.
Dude, I read the shit on the Animorphs, dude.
Oh my
I
god!
loved that
when that
shit.
show came on, I was like, "Yes, they made a show."
And the show wasn't awful either.
The show
Like, it
was
wasn't-
great. It was short-lived,
Yeah.
and that guy was a great actor. When I saw him in X-Men, I thought I was probably the only one that was like, "Oh, it's the Animorphs guy."
Yeah, right. No, that was a good book series.
I think that every time I see him in those movies or anything that he's in,
Tobias.
that's what his name is.
No, that
No,
was
he was Jake. Tobias was...
Jay Burnson.
the hawk that couldn't change back.
Yeah. Well, after a while, he like went back in time or some shit, and then got his own DNA, so he could turn from the Hawk back to him. But he had to go back to the Hawk. What was it, like a 2-hour limit? That's how long you could be in the morph. And that was like the theme of every one of his books was like, oh, should I turn back to me and not have the fucking power again? And that kind of sucked. But I guess it was a good drama story to have.
They were good. Did you ever read the
They
Everworld
defeated the
series?
Yeerks.
Oh, Everworld
No, that was
was,
by the same-
awesome.
Author, wasn't it?
Huh?
Was that by the same author?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same author.
That's right, because I didn't remember that, but because I read Everworld first, and it makes sense that must be how I got turned on to Animorphs, because I remember that, now that you guys said that, I think it always was like, also try reading this series.
Yeah, you would see that
in the back of the book.
Uh-huh.
Everworld had like 15 or 16 books.
Yeah.
And it was like these kids, when they went to sleep, they woke up in the world of like all the Greek gods and shit. And they lived in that
Norse.
world. And then when they like went to sleep there, they woke up in regular life again.
That was Norse gods.
Norse gods, yeah. I couldn't remember which one. But there
How
was
did
badass like Thor and shit. I've never met anyone else that had read those.
How did Animorphs end? I never read the last like 4 or 5 books.
I don't remember.
I got up to the point where, oh, what was it?
It'll be like asking me how
They got
Goosebumps ended.
They got into space. They went with one of the Andalites out somewhere,
Oh,
and
it
then
went
Jake
into the
got captured.
Chronicles. It went into the Chronicles of whatever the alien race
The
was.
Yeerks.
Nah,
No.
the good alien race.
They started going through like time and like going back to where the Yeerks were taking over all these different fucking. Is that how they beat him? They went back in time and stopped the Yeerks.
I have like no memory of the end of that
I'm gonna have
series.
to Wikipedia this or something like that, because that was like it for me. Like, every week, my grandma would come pick me up. Well, let's go to the bookstore, and I'd buy the new Animorphs books that was out.
Mm-hmm.
It was so...
I remember being like that with Goosebumps for a long time, too.
Dude, Cuckoo Clock of Doom
Oh
freaked
my
shit
God.
out. I could
Cuckoo
not
Clock of
sleep.
Doom was like one of the... That's like the most memorable one.
Yeah.
That and the fucking... The slappy ones. The fucking ventriloquist dummy
Night
ones.
Living
yeah.
Dummy.
Dude, those
Yeah,
ones
that one.
were creepy as fuck.
Mhm.
I wanted a ventriloquist dummy for the longest time. My parents got me one Christmas, or Santa did. Looked exactly like Slappy on the cover of those
Just
books.
hated it.
So this fucking image I had of this evil dummy was now sitting in a rocking chair in my room staring at me every night when I tried to go to bed. Like,
Fuck
literally his twin. It was that fucking dummy. Like, what is this?
Goosebumps.
Oh, from
Oh,
the...
they had the show, right?
That's right.
The Cuckoo Clock of Doom episode sucked.
Yeah.
Because they take... The kid
None of
died
the show,
in the book, right?
the shows never did the books justice. The books were way more scary.
Yeah, I remember the kid dying in the book, but in the show he didn't.
It's bullshit.
I know, right?
I remember how excited I was when they made the show, and it was generally a letdown.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I enjoyed watching them still because it was like cool to see,
Yeah.
you know.
When you're
but
a kid, you don't fucking have any
but still,
variables
like,
going
Are You
on.
Afraid of the Dark? Now that was a good fucking creepy show. Like,
Yeah, dude,
the
that
first
one-
series of it, when they brought it back, and it was like they were older or whatever, they weren't as
Yeah,
good.
that sucked. But that one episode, well, there's two of my favorite episodes. One was the one that had that guy that talks like this, and what was it?
Gilbert Gottfried.
Gilbert Godfrey was in it. Yeah, it's like, oh, I'll give you money if you let me out here. What? Give me money? What do I do with money? I'm dead. By God! That line was so good. But the other one that was hella crazy about that one was when was it a chick or a guy? She had that liquid that made her like beautiful, but it also sped up like her dying or something like that. So she would end up looking all hella fucked up soon after that unless she kept taking this fucking liquid. What was that?
You remember
one?
the dollhouse one?
Yeah,
it was
that
like that
fucked.
creepy dollhouse in the attic, and they got trapped inside it.
Yeah.
That reminds me
yeah.
of that Twilight Zone episode, The Mannequins.
Dude,
I feel like a lot of them were based off all those old series.
the creepiest Twilight Zone episode was that, like, the doll one. The one with that, like, it was like a Polly something doll, or like Polly P Pants doll or some shit, and it talked, and like
I don't remember that
it kept
one.
like it would like chuck you up sometimes, like say like all of a sudden super evil shit, and then just like go back to normal, and they like couldn't get rid of it. Like every time they would like put it somewhere, like it would be in the room again and shit.
Ha, I like that.
Like the end of it was like, I remember it ending with like they thought they got rid of it, and then like you see it's at the garage or something, and you see the doll like sitting in a garbage can or something, like,
That's fucked.
and then it like the string is going back in and it says something. I don't remember. It was super creepy. A lot of those old Twilight Zone episodes were fucking. You remember Outer Limits?
Yeah.
That
Outer
was
Limits.
another show that was creepy as shit.
You remember the Outer Limits where it was this farmer, like, I don't know if it was like modern for that time or maybe set 20, 30 years in the past. There was cars and all that. And this guy, he was a farmer, a meteor came down onto his farm and he had it, but the meteor like infected him with this shit and he started growing like moss or some shit all over his body. And it was him just like trying to get people to understand like this is fucked up what's going on, but for some reason the virus killed other people way faster than him, so every time he tried to get help someone would die. And he ended up being just like covered. The last scene was him and just in his chair in his living room. He's just covered with all this shit and he's barely got his hands out. He's just like, fuck it. Grabs his shotgun and blows his brains out. Like, that was how it ended. You just see him.
I remember
Like,
one
put a
with
shotgun in
like
his head.
like some kind of creepy earwig
Yeah,
thing.
it's crazy.
What was that show on?
Outer Limits.
No. What,
I don't remember.
TV station.
I want to say it was like
I don't know. I watched
it was like
Yeah,
UPN or Fox.
I don't remember specifically what. I remember I was a little kid. Must have been like 8 or 9 when it came out.
I remember watching it like when we first
1998
moved to Marysville,
is
and
when that episode came out.
Whoa. Are you looking all this up right
Oh
now?
yeah, I got it. That's why.
What's that one called?
How do you think I've answered all of Daniel Craig?
Oh.
Unless it was for Google.
Okay, well, you should look up next. This is what, like, I literally didn't sleep as a kid for like a week because it freaked me out so much. It was a Nickelodeon show. Remember Adventures of Tintin? Okay, there was that one episode where these like explorers went into this like Maya cave or something like that, and it released this fucking skeleton like spirit or some shit, and it had these crystal balls, and it would go into people's houses at night while they're sleeping, and it would throw this crystal ball down and release a mist or some kind of solution that made you're in a coma. You don't wake up. And it was just doing all these fucking people, and I remember just sitting in my bed like, if I go to sleep, this thing is gonna do this to me. And actually, now that I think back at it, like, I honestly, like, I know the difference between real and fake. Even as a kid, I know, like, okay, your mind's playing tricks on you, all this. I remember sitting in my room, just scared shitless already, and I heard, like, just the shrillest scream, and it was a woman voice. It was this crazy-ass scream, and I lost it. I ran to my parents' room and all that, and they were like, what the fuck, Jake? Go back to your room. I'm like, I'm gonna die. It's just like, every show that you see where, like, the kids telling their parents,
no, this is real.
Gonna happen.
I'm really
like,
gonna die.
Yeah, whatever.
They don't believe him, and then the kid dies.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what like, it's gonna be this. This is what's gonna happen to you. Fuck.
I'm not going back in there. Yeah. You guys don't understand. I'm gonna fucking die.
Mm-hmm.
There's 3 seasons of that show, 39 episodes.
Dude,
Adventures of Tintin.
Yeah,
that was a good show, man.
I remember seeing. I don't know what it was. I was little, and I have this like memory, like these images of this thing that scared me, and I know it was from like a movie or like a Twilight Zone. I don't remember what the fuck it came from. I saw something. I always watched scary movies and shit when I was younger anyways, but I saw something, and it was like, the story was like this vacuum. It was like this weird, like shop vac looking vacuum with like a fucking hose that came off it, and like the fucking snout on the end. And it like would come to life on its own and like roll around like the house and fucking
sounds familiar.
Like kill people, like suck them up, or like I don't remember like how, but like it murdered people. It was like this evil fucking just vacuum that came to life. Like it wasn't like it had crazy face or anything. It was like it would come to life and fucking just kill these people around this house. It might have just been like a nightmare I had one time, and I just can't remember like where I had the memory of it, but it seems like the images I have from it in my mind are black and white, so I don't feel like that's the case. But I used to I had nightmares about that all the time. Like that was like an ongoing one that freaked me out. This thing, this like weird vacuum that fucking rolled around and killed people. Like, oh dude, I used to think I saw it in my room some nights, like of my eyes. What the oh my god.
There's nothing quite like being like legitimately like scared. Like there's I'm kind of freaked out by something, but when you're like, you feel like you're in the moment, you hear your heart pounding, you can hear everything going on around you, there's sweat coming off your forehead, I am scared right now. I am literally like borderline panicking. I'm so scared.
Loading up and rolling out of the mountain that night.
What night?
Marble Mound?
Night.
Fuck. That's a different kind of scare. That's like shit's going down, alright. But when you're
sincerely
like, I haven't felt this since I was a
fucking
little
afraid.
kid.
That's a realistic, like...
Yeah, that's a realistic fear.
Like, oh shit, these guys are coming at us nice. We have to leave or else we're gonna die.
Oh, Marble Mount?
No, we were worried about a helicopter just coming out of nowhere. And
we were talking about...
assault squads coming out.
But yeah, that too. Yeah.
Dude,
I haven't felt like that legitimate kind of fear that you're talking about. It seems like it's been...
since I was a kid. I get them with my neighbors. I actually got one just last night. I had a chain of like 3 or 4 nightmares.
Oh, I hate that.
Happen.
In
It
the
was just
row?
awful, yeah.
Nightmares left and right lately. I don't know what the fuck is my problem, but what the
I don't know.
Where's Shay Olsen when we need her?
Shay?
Or Brittany Goose.
She spent like years studying dream interpretation.
Really?
She used to always interpret my dreams for me.
Oh, that's cool. I like that kind of shit. I always like to hear...
You like that kind of shit.
I always like to hear Ray talk about how he went through that whole thing and trying to induce lucid dreams.
Oh, yeah, he got
I really
deep
want to
into
try
that
doing
shit.
that.
I tried really hard for it. Well, I worked really hard on astral projecting.
That's some shit.
I got it like a little bit a few times, but it was so fucking hard.
I've got something to attend to really quick. It's so weird not having headphones on.
Are you pooping?
Don't poop in there. Ah, fuck, he's pooping. So you can follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/VillainRecords. We'll have a Ville'n Radio Twitter set up soon.
It's
One
mostly
second.
going to be the Gromble posting stupid shit that you don't need to hear.
But
Or
you
read.
want to hear it.
But you want to read it,
You'll read
and you will read
Nothing
it.
else to do.
You'll read it hard. Retweet. Retweet this. Retweet this. Retweet. Retweet this right now. RT it.
Retweet.com.
Hashtag you're gay.
Hash again. Keep smoking hash, pound, period.
Hashtag keep smoking hashtags. Did you notice that the video camera died?
Good. Don't
Good,
look
good.
on
Yeah,
camera.
I don't fuck that.
Fucking
Fuck
podcast.
that stupid shit. I don't need that.
It's all digital.
It's all digital, man. You're also right now, at this particular moment, right now, you are listening to Ville'n Radio. This is the Gromble. That extremely awkward and inappropriate noise that you just heard was late night. Sitting here also is Astronaut and motherfucking McGreed.
I think this is gonna wrap up our podcast for tonight.
I guess this is all we have. All we know. Why'd you put your headphones
I
on
don't know,
late
I was
night?
just
You got a
thinking
lot
that
of
to my
important
head.
stuff to say?
Well, I wanted to get to one more point before we cut it all off. Like, we're all talking about, we all used to watch all these really scary shit. Like, obviously we're all really into horror and all that. How awful is horror nowadays? Like, there's been not
It's
one
smut.
good scary movie.
There were
That's all
things
it
that-
is.
Scared me when I watched them before. I remember the last time I watched something that I got scared
Yeah,
watching.
horror
it.
movies nowadays are just like,
It's all shock
oh,
value.
I don't want to see that.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
awful.
The Human
the fuck?
Centipede? That's not a horror movie. That's just
No.
what the fuck?
The Hills Have Eyes, not a horror movie.
All the
Just
Saw
awful
movies?
stuff. Awful stuff, not horror.
It's shock value.
Yeah, exactly. Things that actually... The last good horror movie out there was Event Horizon. That movie
God,
scared
that movie
me
was
shitless.
fucking trippy as
Filthy
shit,
fucking
dude.
movie, dude. I love that shit.
That movie is great. It fucking freaks me out still.
Oh, when they
I watch
finally find the... or decrypt the video of what
it.
happened.
Yeah.
And, like, they're showing all the guys
And you
with their
see 'em
eyes
all
ripped out
fucked
and
up.
Shit. Yeah.
Dude, you know,
Ooh,
like
man, I love that
really
shit.
good old scary movie, the original It.
I never
Oh,
saw
man.
that, actually.
I mean, the original The Thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
It,
Body
it was
Snatchers.
also good though.
Body
It, the
Snatchers
clown
was good.
one. It, the fucking Stephen King book. That movie was fucking awesome.
I don't think I ever saw that.
You never saw It? Oh my god.
I'm not a big
dude.
fan of like Stephen. I think Stephen King's style
The
of horror is on
Shining?
the opposite
Oh.
spectrum end of the spectrum of what I don't like about the shock value one. There's ones that are
It's
just
still
like
that.
all psychological. and
Did you
ones
ever
that are-
watch the Rose Red
Mm-mm.
little miniseries thing they had? It's only it's you can get it now. It's usually like I think they consider it a movie, but it's like 5 hours or some shit. It was a miniseries. Fucking great, dude. Trippy as fuck. It's about this house. Like it changes pretty much. Like it's fucking sweet.
That actually sounds really familiar. I was talking to one of my coworkers about this. I remember this. This might be tied into that vacuum cleaner thing you were talking about, and maybe this specifically. There was, I don't know if it was a series or a movie. It was when I was really young when I watched it, but this like evil thing. I guess it was a spirit. I specifically remember it being in a lamp. It was in a lamp at one point in this show, and like sometimes you would see like, you know, a really misty face, like almost holographically in this lamp, and it would just do shit to this family, and the house itself was like killing people in this.
That
in this
might
family.
it could be that like
And it
because it
was-
was
it would
was
take
on
over
this
different
one family
things.
in this house pretty much.
Yeah, and it would take over. At the very end, they get away, and then the cat has like weird eyes, and it's like alludes to the idea that they didn't get rid of the soul. It went
Because
to
the
this
cat has with
Oh,
him.
I know
Yeah.
what you're talking about with Denzel Washington.
Was it Denzel?
Denzel Washington and fucking
It was old. Like we're
Yeah.
talking really old.
John Gooding. is in that. God, I used to watch that all the
John
time.
Redcorn.
John Redcorn. That shit's funny
It
as
was one of
fuck.
Denzel Washington's first movies. It was way back in the day. Fallen. That's what it was.
You know, Denzel's a good actor and all that, but I feel like all his movies are like,
The movie.
I do
movie was
this,
called Fallen.
and I'm black.
It was
I
called
do this,
Fallen. It
and
came out
I'm
in
black.
1988.
1998.
1998. I feel like it's older than that.
What we were just talking about?
Yeah.
I remember being little, like, I would say at the
1998.
early
We were 11.
96.
We were 11 in 98. That's
No,
not.
it came out in 1998. It's called Fallen.
Are you sure? What did you read the storyline? Like, are you sure it's that movie?
Does it end with the
Fallen,
cat?
Denzel Washington, John Goodman. Homicide detective John Hobbs witnesses the execution of serial killer Edgar Reese. Soon after the execution, the killings start again. They are very similar to Reese's style. Yeah, that's definitely it.
That sounds actually like after hearing that, that sounds like it was the storyline of it. They killed someone, and then that sparked this whole like crazy thing happening.
I'm gonna fucking watch this movie now.
Yeah, right.
It's really
We should do that.
fucking
Like one of
good.
these nights, just go buy all of our old favorite like horror
Dude,
movies.
that'd be sweet.
Have a whole night watching all that shit. That'd be fun as fuck.
Watch them all on Betamax. Get a Betamax player.
You know what's a good idea is buying a VCR. Like go to like pawn shops and try to find a VCR.
I have a fucking VCR.
I need one really
You
bad.
need one.
You can't watch any of the original Star Wars without a VCR, without
No.
the remastering or any of that shit, which is fuck. They should release a DVD version of the not remastered,
Yeah, it's
whatever.
fact.
Like, there's nothing worse than watching like the whole battle with the Death Star in Episode 4, and all this cool stuff's happening, and it's all with models and actual like, because they
Yeah.
blew up a model of the Death Star. It looked real. It looked
Yeah,
cool.
it was
So you're watching
awesome.
all this, you're like, oh wow, and then all of a sudden CG explosion. You're like. Well, that just completely brought me out of the whole like storyline.
It just took me out of the whole nostalgia
Yeah.
of this entire thing.
Or you see Han Solo talking to Jabba the Hutt. And
Yeah, and he's
I
all
hated
fucking
that
computer.
scene.
Oh my god, I hate that.
Yeah.
Because that scene wasn't even in the movie. They took it
No,
out.
and it looks completely different from Jabba.
Yeah,
in
it looks
Return of the
completely
Jedi.
different from everything else around. Like, it doesn't
Yeah.
look like it fits in that scene at all.
It makes me wonder how they, because they didn't redo that scene. That was a scene that was filmed back in the day, right?
Yeah, but they didn't have Jabba in it.
I wonder
They
how
never,
were planning on
they
doing
never
Jabba.
like did the Jabba part of that scene. It was they
Just a
like
run through.
that's why it looks so weird, because it is the original footage of Han doing that scene, but they never actually put something in for Jabba, and then they just
I
decided
wonder
not
what they
to
were
use it.
planning to do. You'd think that they put like the animatronic Jabba in there, or maybe they had like, because that was right when CGI was first kind of becoming something they could do it.
I don't
They were
remember,
planning
like,
on it,
'cause
they're
I
"Oh, that looks
remember-
like shit."
I remember hearing about like what I just told you, like was the information I remember. I remember watching some type of documentary where this came up, and they were talking about putting that scene back in and using the CGI thing, but I don't remember what like all the specific reasons were why they didn't get around to using it. It was like they had certain plans for it and then just decided that they didn't need it in the movie. It wasn't really crucial. You already got the fact that Han owed him money. You didn't
Yeah.
really need it, you know? So they just took it out. I remember like George Lucas's interview saying like we decided that it was already established that he owed Jabba money. That scene was kind of pointless, so we just didn't do it.
George Lucas, like, he's such a double-edged sword, man. Such good ideas. Such an awful director.
Oh, I know.
Good God, man. What did you do?
You guys ever hear or see the movie Flatliners
No.
with Kiefer Sutherland, Julia Roberts, Kevin Bacon?
Kiefer Sutherland. Talk about an underrated actor.
Kiefer Sutherland's the shit.
Great
You guys
actor,
never saw
man.
Flatliners? They were medical
Oh.
students. They basically killed themselves, and Kiefer Sutherland he would go like minutes being dead
To see what happened.
to see what happens, and they would bring him back to life, and then he'd explain his
Have you ever
I
seen
like
Dark
that.
City?
from 1990. It was
Huh?
good.
You ever see Dark City?
I remember Kiefer Sutherland. in
Kiefer
Young
Sutherland's
Guns.
in it. It's a fucking trippy as shit movie, and it's like what they based the Matrix movies off of, roughly. Like, it's a different storyline, but like the way it's shot and everything, like you'll notice a lot of similarities when you watch it. It's trippy, but it's a fucking sweet movie.
That's another letdown for me. Matrix 1, great. Matrix 2, storyline sucked. Fight scenes, awesome.
Yeah,
and, like, the whole idea of, like, being in the underground of the Matrix, and it was this whole, like, political, like, infighting with the actual machines. That was great.
That was
and then
so sweet.
Movie 3 sucked.
I don't know what the fuck happened in the third one.
They took drugs or stopped taking drugs.
The second one, they did so much, too. Like, everything had so much production value. It was so fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah, usually when you got, like, all
they
that
built
kind of CGI going
8
on.
miles of freeway in a desert. They built 8 miles of freeway as a set for that freeway scene. 8 miles of freeway.
That's so
That's
sick.
unbelievable. How much money did it cost you to do that?
My God,
just for a movie.
so much.
Just for a movie set. We built 8 miles of
Well, didn't that end up being
completely
part
constructed 8 miles of freeway.
Of the freeway later on.
And they went through like 30 of those Cadillacs.
Yeah. Fuck, man. The one thing I didn't like about that scene was that the cop cars were keeping up with that Ducati. Because
I know.
Neo on that Ducati.
But you also have to think it's the Matrix. Like,
yeah,
the
I guess they
program
could've just
could be
been
written that the cop cars can't
Could go
be,
that fast,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? That they can catch up to whatever the fuck.
like, that's true.
If that was the way that the program was written, then so be it.
I just hated how they ended the third movie.
Really, because of that whole programming thing, everything could be so open-ended as far as the Matrix, you can't really make a judgment on anything's realism.
That's true. Yeah, because if you have the Matrix itself being able to manipulate itself in any way that it wants.
Yeah, and write the code to do whatever it wants, and the agents can completely freely write code as they live and see fit. Like, they're capable of anything. We should probably close.
Yeah. Da.
With all of that shit being said, this has been another podcast brought to you by your friends at the Northwest Underground Network and Ville'n Records, along with the Ville'n Radio Network that you're listening to right now.